Hey, what's going on, friends and theme park fans? This is Silver Stix here for another Stix Top 6, where I count down the best and worst that theme parks have to offer. Alrighty folks, I have a very special, highly requested episode of Stix Top 6 for you all today. As you can probably already tell by the title, we'll be diving headfirst into what I think are the best and worst rides at SeaWorld Orlando. But before we jump into anything, just in case you weren't familiar with the best and worst Stix Top 6 episode, it's super easy to follow. Numbers 6 through 4 are the top 3 worst, while numbers 3 through 1 are the top 3 best. It is really that simple. And one final thing I need to mention is this list will be made up of my own opinions, and I mean absolutely no harm at all if your favorite rides are on my worst list or anything. This is all just for fun and for the sake of discussing one of the coolest theme parks of all time with you guys. So anyway, with all that finally out of the way, let's go ahead and make a splash right into today's Wet n Wild countdown. Kicking off our 3 worst rides today, right outside the entrance to the brand new Sesame Street section of the park, we'll be able to find the underwhelming, poorly themed Sea Carousel. I know this is technically just your average carousel attraction, and I'm sure somebody will let me know how it doesn't deserve a spot on the worst list, but honestly guys, it's just so much less than even an average carousel ride, at least in my opinion. It goes incredibly slow, the sea creatures you ride on look super weird and creepy, and there's just nothing to look at while you're riding other than like a fence and some trees basically. It's just a boring attraction. There's not much more to say about it. On the bright side, I guess it does last about 2 minutes, which is a decent ride time for a carousel, and honestly the bright and vibrant exterior of the ride is pretty visually pleasing for bystanders, so I suppose parents could have a good time watching their little ones riding the carousel and having fun, but for just about anybody else visiting the park, I'd say this one isn't even worth a second thought. It just feels flat out lazy. Next up on our worst list today, we'll be flying a jet helicopter over to the 5-minute-long Poor Man's Star Tours clone, Wild Arctic. And when I say this ride is a Star Tours clone, I mean every single last detail is ripped right from that ride. The cabin simulator style, the scrim coming down revealing the screen behind it, and even the introductory video and the place you stand before the ride even begins look exactly the same as Star Tours. I swear SeaWorld just sort of straight up copied Disney on this one. But unlike Star Tours, Wild Arctic is one of the worst simulators I've ever experienced. The screen is way too small and blurry, the motion of the cabin mixed with the visuals you're staring at pretty much always make me feel sick, and the video itself is just boring. Honestly, the video sort of feels like a less interesting version of Soarin', but it's stuck inside a Star Tours cabin. Like, seriously, what is with this ride just copying a bunch of better Disney attractions? I don't understand it. I guess the exhibit this attraction lives inside is pretty cool with all the manatees and seals and whatnot swimming around, but I'm trying to judge Wild Arctic on its own merits as a ride by itself today, and while it may not be the absolute worst ride of all time, it's certainly not one that you'll be remembering for very long after any trip to the park. I can assure you of that. Alrighty folks, wrapping up our 3 worst rides today, right in the central lake of SeaWorld Orlando, we'll be able to pay $6 and spend about 20 minutes on the Flamingo paddle boats, or as I like to call them, the old SeaWorld workout boats, because after only about 30 seconds of pedaling this boat around the lake, you will soon realize how strenuous it really is on your legs, and you'll probably regret that $6 you just blew to make yourself feel that way pretty quickly. Besides the solid leg workout you'll get with this attraction though, the only real upside I can think of is how close you get to Mako. Seeing it soar over the water while you're on the water is a pretty cool experience, I can't even lie. But honestly guys, that is genuinely the only positive I could think of after a ton of thought for this one. It wears you out for the rest of the day, there's shockingly not that much to see on the water, and simply enough, it costs you money. If you're really looking for a leisurely activity to partake in while you're at SeaWorld, just hop on the Sky Tower. It's free, it provides much better sightlines of the entire park, and it adds that slight thrill element because you go over 400 feet in the air. Now that is a fun experience. The flamingo paddle boats, on the other hand, are nothing more than a hearty waste of time, money, and energy on any vacation to SeaWorld Orlando. Right, so with our 3 worst rides officially out of the way, let's get on a more upbeat note and kick off our 3 best rides today with the thrill-tastic, one-of-a-kind water coaster, Journey to Atlantis. Over the years, this ride has had quite a few of its effects turned off, so it's definitely not what it used to be, but I still find it to be a beautiful, terrifying, and irresistible 6-minute ride that's unlike anything I've personally ridden before. It's half water ride and half roller coaster with custom-built ride carts that basically resemble a SpongeBob boatmobile that's able to drive on land and ride on tracks, but also float through water and fly down waterfalls just as easily. There's dark ride elements at play that are fantastic and mesmerizing, several different thrill ride moments including a massive heart-pumping 60-foot drop to scare just about anyone. The soundtrack to this ride is just perfect, and the story, or at least what's left of it at this point, is still entrancing beyond belief, at least in my opinion. Honestly guys, Journey to Atlantis is just an absolute classic SeaWorld attraction, and I just have to recommend it to everyone visiting the park. It's eerie, it's gorgeous, and it is just downright fun. If you somehow haven't taken the time to face this beast of a coaster yet, then you need to do yourself a favor and hop aboard as soon as you possibly can. It's one journey you won't soon forget. Slipping and sliding our way right next door to Journey to Atlantis, we'll be able to find the wildly original freezing cold trackless dark ride, Antarctica Empire of the Penguin. And when I say this is a freezing cold attraction, I mean actually beware. If you don't have a jacket or some long pants on when you head in here, you're gonna be shivering the whole time just waiting for it to end. However, if you are prepped and ready to take this one on, then you really will find one absolute gem of a dark ride. The trackless system at play here was revolutionary for the time it came out back in 2013, and there's even different ride carts depending on if you're looking for a more intense or more relaxing ride through. There's beautiful lighting effects, there's an actual penguin enclosure you pass by, and the story told through these wonderful screens, narration, and music truly do make for a lively, immersive experience unlike anything you can find in any other theme park. And it really is just downright amazing, honestly. Regardless of the fact that the ride does sort of smell like fish because, well, that is what penguins eat. I can definitely see why some people might not be interested in this attraction. Maybe it's too educational, maybe the cold gets to them, maybe they just don't like penguins or whatever it may be. But in my personal opinion, Antarctica Empire of the Penguin feels exactly like the movie March of the Penguins, but as a ride, and I just love that. And honestly, even if you're not a big fan of the ride, unless you straight up hate penguins, I still know for a fact that just about anyone will still enjoy seeing the live penguins hanging out in their enclosure afterwards or near the end of the ride. So really, no matter what, no matter who you are, there is something for everyone here to have fun with, and I definitely think everyone should at least give it a chance on any trip to the park. Please. Alright. Finishing off our 3 best rides today, right near the entrance of the park, where we'll run into the high-flying, death-defying roller coaster of epic proportions, Manta. This 2-minute and 36-second steel flying coaster is the pure definition of intensity. It's got a maximum height of 140 feet in the air, a massive 113-foot drop, and 4 insane inversions, all while you're dangling face down from this incredibly well-themed ride cart. It's really every thrill seeker's dream, and believe me, it is a ton of fun, and it seriously just feels like you're flying. It's unbelievable. Since its opening back on May 5th, 2009, it has remained one of the most popular and highly discussed attractions throughout the entire park, and for good reason. I literally never see people coming off this ride disappointed, and even the ones who go in nervous and anxious, like myself, seem to always get off the ride with huge smiles, just ready to take it on once again. And I guarantee it'll be the same for anyone who hasn't given it a try thus far. Seriously, you just gotta take my word for this one. Manta is the best ride in all of SeaWorld Orlando, and I'll take that with me to the grave without a single doubt. You need to ride this ride. It's amazing. Alrighty folks, so that's going to about wrap up my best and worst rides at SeaWorld Orlando. I really hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, and sharing it around. It'd mean a lot and help out a ton. Also, leave in the comments what your favorite and least favorite rides are around SeaWorld Orlando so we can start a conversation down there. But anyway gang, with all that out of the way, this is Stix signing out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, theme park fans. Peace.